Ford presents the Diving Bell versus the Butter Glider.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
Welcome to the second half of Season 4.
I composed a song about how much I love it. Cue Disney strings. Ahem.
For you, for listeners, we're just starting right now. In real life, we had to wait a whole season break.
We did. We had to wait until the heady days of 2010. Icing had taken the nation by storm. We were recovering from the BP oil spill, and the Tea Party was sweeping the nation and ruining politics forever.
I misheard you. It sounded like you said icing was
Yes.
sweeping the nation.
Icing.
Is that what you said?
Do you remember Bros? Icing Bros.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of cake icing.
I mean, icing always sweeps the nation.
Yeah, people love it. People
Yeah.
love that shit. That's what I got confused. But yeah, I remember icing bros and planking.
Oh, yeah, planking. Before it gave way to the much lamer T-bowing. Yeah.
T-bowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids.
The kids. The kids 11 years ago.
The kids. The kids. The adults now, they vote. They ice and they vote, according to the bumper stickers. So be careful. I plank and I vote. It's a really confusing sign to hold up at a protest.
Oh, gosh.
This episode is written by Jackson Public, originally aired September 12th, 2010. And this is reintroducing everything and then also jam-packing a bunch of fun ideas that he had into an episode.
Yeah, this is.
I think this is a real fun episode.
This is two separated, uninvolved plots that collide together at the end in a very fun way.
Yeah, and both plots are fun. Mm-hmm. The Monarch gets a new toy and he gets super obsessed with it. And then on the other side of the things, the protagonists shrink down and go inside Rusty's body to fix an embolism.
Yep.
Fantastic Voyage style.
Yeah, doing the old inner space. I'm a fan of that trope. I like the shrinking down and going in the body. That's one of the better episodes of Futurama. When they go when he eats the gas station bathroom egg salad sandwich and he gets the worms.
This was almost a two-parter because Jackson couldn't figure out how to get this down to length. Because they were going to do assisted suicide stuff in it. An episode we're doing later, which you can kind of see. It would be like Doc's perspective.
Yeah.
During all of this.
Yeah.
That ends up being, since that got written first, though, because Doc Hammer was a little bigger, that ends up being his own episode, which we'll cover later.
Yes. Yeah. So Public couldn't just put his name on the card before the party, Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Monarch's new toy is the Butter Glider. Very obviously a Green Glider kind of homage. This was
Green Goblin.
Yeah,
the Green Glider.
Green Glider. Well, he has a Green Glider. That's what
glider.
That's what Green Goblin calls his glider, the Green Glider. What else would he call it, Gary?
He calls it the Pumpkin Glider.
That's dumb.
Dude, Green Goblin's kind of like, yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah.
You said
it. Green Goblin. Jackson had just doodled the Monarch doing like a Green Goblin kind of thing, like a Halloween costume. Yeah, and he figured, that'd be fun. We can just give him a glider. That'll be neat. And because Public is a huge Spider-Man fan, like at the end of this, we get a good homage to that one Spider-Man cover where the Green Goblin is dragging Spidey behind the glider, Yeah.
And he gets to introduce Brown Widow this season.
He does.
So exciting.
Yeah.
There's a musical number in the middle of this episode for no reason.
I like it. It's endearing.
It's kind of funny. It is really weird though, and it's weird how much of the post commentary concentrates on it between the commentary track and the book.
Yes.
It's the only thing really from the show that they talk about on the commentary track. It's really low on the relevant commentary track rankings. And it's like a minute. It goes by so quick.
Yep.
And it's, Doc is very impressed, like composing this song in just like 3 hours. Like the book it's a whole page of him writing about their process for doing this.
Yeah.
It's really strange to me. And you can see the growth because on the commentary, he's very defensive about his process. And in the book, he's like, yeah, this would be a nightmare to work with.
Yeah. Those intervening years, the 6 or 7 years in between those, I think were probably pretty good for him. It does sound like a nightmare. Because he wrote it and he did all of the like instrumentation, right? And instead of putting something down in sheet music to give to public who can sing, right? He just provided like a little like instrumental track of like, okay, here's the melody for it, and then as a director, he did nothing to convey what public was supposed to do. So what we get is just thousands of punch-ins.
Yes. And he went and wrote a song with real weird meter. Where lines start, earlier or later than you might think.
A lot of borrowed beats. Yeah, a
lot of borrowed beats. And that's not something Disney does.
Nope.
Or anything. I don't know why he chose to do it that way and then was like mad when Jackson couldn't get it.
Right.
It's super strange. So that's most of the back matter. There's some other good like little details in the book and everything. My favorite one is, they'd planned to do this for a while and they were talking about inner space and how Jackson was going to go buy it on DVD, but couldn't get it on DVD and how that exact exchange ends up in the episode.
Yeah.
That's real fun to me.
Between drafts, they learned that it was made on DVD. He just didn't look hard
enough. Why don't they put it on DVD? They do! It's very funny.
Yeah.
This was something they had planned for the first season, doing a Inner Space or Fantastic Voyage. But they ended up watching an episode of C-Lab that made all the same jokes. So they had to wait 4 years to do it.
I'm happy they did because the twist on that is very entertaining to me.
Yeah.
So, and that's not something they could have done in season 1. I think the show is it is smarter and it has more lore, I think, to bank on that, and we wouldn't have had Holy Diver. What's his name?
Yeah,
Shore Leave. We wouldn't have had Shore Leave. Yeah.
Or Holy Diver, but really it's all about boom, yummy.
Brock of Ages. Yeah.
Brock blocking me. Jackson ended up talking to a doctor about what they would find in Rusty's body, which is very funny. I think he says on the commentary, scientist friend.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're a doctor.
Yeah. I just assumed doctor. I don't know.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But the doctor was like, hey, man, nobody's ever done anything with phages. Look up phages. They're cool. And this is how Jackson got Phineas Phage.
Great name.
And
A+.
his proteins. Yeah.
Yeah. A+ villain name, Phineas Phage. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll show up and ends up actually being a little bit important in the last season. Weirdly.
Yeah. He's part of the New York crew that happans. Yeah. So let's jump into it. Yeah. We open up. We are in media res. We are watching from the perspective of what seems like, we're just seeing through Rusty's eyes. We're actually just seeing through eye because half of him is awake. He's half paralyzed, like he's had what appears to be a stroke as the cocoon is attacked, led by 21.
Yes. This is really good. Sergeant Hatred is driving the tank. He's very stressed out. Dean is giving them directions, and it pans over to Hank just using this turret.
Yeah.
Anytime you pan over to one of the boys using a really, really, oversized gun is very funny to me.
Oh God. Hank with the body gun. That's just a big penis.
Yeah. I love it. 21 sees, he's like, oh, it seems like they're getting away. And 21 says, not on my watch. Hit him with both barrels. And both barrels are the Moppets being deployed on little motorcycles.
Yep. For the first time in their henchman outfits as the Pupae twins.
Well, they're in the Pupae twin outfits at first, and then they shed that to the henchman outfits. They literally go through the life cycle in the scene.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And they deploy, right? And Hatred kind of has to do some tricky driving to shake them, get them to crash and get to the hospital. which they won't, 21 won't pursue them because it's a Catholic hospital. It's hallowed ground. They're not in the game.
Yep. Just honor. The Hatred's great in this episode. He's really competent.
Yes.
He freaks out later, but early on, like, this is good bodyguarding.
It is.
We cut over to the Monarch subplot where they're having a party for King Gorilla getting out of jail. The sign is the get out of jail free card, but with a monkey. Very cute.
Yep.
And he looks real bad though. He's hooked up to oxygen.
Yeah. He's real thin. I think the Monarch says he looks like an empty gorilla suit wearing the Stop Making Sense suit.
Yeah, he with a gorilla suit with nobody in it, wearing the Stop Making Sense suit.
Yeah,
very good. They give him a shirt with his old sidekick, Statutory Ape, which is a sex assault joke, but a joke that worked really well on me when I first saw this.
Yeah,
I thought Statutory Ape was very funny.
It is a well composed pun about a horrible thing that probably wouldn't fly today.
Yeah. It's also, since it's an ape, it just I guess it maybe is just an underage ape.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
those are legal.
I'm not gonna make jokes. Oh man, but
not legal to have sex with. They're just legal to exist. Like the ape can exist.
Yes, the ape can exist. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure about the social mores of the ape of the ape society. What goes on in that culture? Yeah, I mean,
Jane Goodall.
Yeah, probably Jane Goodall. Yeah.
I'm Gary Butterfield. I'm Cole Ross, and I'm Coco. And we're here to discuss the
We're not going to get that liar who taught Coco's sign language. Come on.
Yeah,
I know it's complicated, but yeah, I know.
Complicated.
I just like taking a really hard stance on that heartwarming story.
Yeah, you hate Coco. You wish you could step on Coco's neck.
I love Coco. I hate Coco's situation. Yeah.
Coco was very happy.
Yeah,
she got to see all kinds of nipples.
She got to feel them.
Yeah, she loved nipples.
Yeah. She was sad when Robin Williams died.
Yeah, I love it. And so it's so heartwarming. What a good ape.
Yep.
Much better than King Gorilla.
Yeah, King Gorilla's a little sketchy for me. They're interrupted though. The cocoon arrives. 21 is pulled up from his first solo command. Dr. Miss is like, hey, we got to come do the debrief. Do you want to come with us? And the Monarch he's kind of conflicted about it. He's like, I don't know. And he just kind of like says wistfully, I remember my first solo command. Like,
it took me. I don't think they do a good job of doing the blocking for what's happening here. So it took me a little bit to figure out what's happening. Is he's looking at King Gorilla. He's sad because he knows he's going to die someday. He's thinking about 21 as a new villain, and that is what drives him to go buy the butter glider.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense to me. Yeah.
Yes. Later in the episode, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch says, I just chalk this up to a midlife crisis thing.
Yeah. That seemed like a throwaway.
I'm sure there would have. It's a total throwaway. And what unlocked it for me was reading that there was tons of stuff cut out.
Yes.
From the episode.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it together. I literally thought that it was just a joke about the Monarch being insensitive about the safety of his men. Yeah.
No, he's having a crisis.
Yes.
Here. Because it also explains why he gets so weird about the butter glider. It's more to him than just a vehicle.
Yeah. That makes this work way better for me. Like, I already liked it. It was fine because what he does is funny, but making it be a meaningful character beat actually improves it for me. So
yeah. I didn't get it until this watch. So don't feel bad. I don't think they do a good job explaining it.
7 to 8 watches in. Yeah.
I've seen this episode many times.
Yeah.
He gets the King Gorilla gets a gift from the Monarch. It's a carton of cigarettes, and everybody gives him a look. And nobody told Monarch that King Gorilla was dying of lung cancer, presumably.
Right. I didn't know he was sick. I think that would be a fun gift, like to get from a former celly. Like, we can just get him out here.
Yeah, this is like $1,000.
Oh my gosh!
Originally, this was going to be a party for King Gorilla and Tigerific. And they cut that out, which, sure.
Yeah.
I miss Tigerific, like we all do, but doesn't have a place in this episode.
It's nice to want Tigerific back, but the focus here is good, especially with how weirdly important King Gorilla ends up being. So
to this season, this half season.
Yep. So back at the compound, Hatred is comforting Dean, and their conversation makes it sound for all the world like they had to euthanize Rusty because he didn't have insurance.
or at the very least, like, they couldn't treat him at all.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. They couldn't treat him. They could treat him up to a point.
Yeah.
We'll find out what happens soon. Hatred gives Hank the signal. He's like, okay, but we have one last thing we can try. And they put up the conjectural technology signal. What is this? I wish we could have seen Rusty's reaction to this being installed.
Me too.
And then I love this little sequence. I love that how they talk about it in the book and the commentary. Like, he's like, oh, I don't know how this script just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And they do this, minute long joke. It's only kind of a joke.
Yeah. The commentary, goes a long way into like, this is about the time where Family Guy started really leaning into the way too long joke kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's actually like a direct commentary on that in the episode itself here, right? A little bit later, but like they're talking about it. And like, I'm curious about the question they asked too. Like, how do they represent that in the script? Like, like how do they like indicate that like here's how much time this is going to take so that they don't like overpack the episode. I'm curious
Doc
about
says
that.
like she just put excruciating 3 minutes. Like.
Yeah. But this is good. I love that they see Billy sees the signal and he does the Ghostbusters. We got one.
And they get on their conjecture cycle.
Yeah.
Which is a motorcycle with 2 motorcycles put together that can separate. And there's all kinds of like, blue leader ready for separation, stuff. It's very similar to Ventronic.
Yeah. Or it's like the Holy Diver armor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's hilarious because like it's this whole sequence to do something that they should need to do pretty quick, and they only do it just like to send Pete up on like a little diversion, like a service road, right? Then they join back together, but then when they need to be able to do it to get around the fountain, they can't do it in time, so they crash into it.
Yeah. It's a super cute little joke.
Yeah. But this is how they spent their $10 million that they got from the investors or from GCI insurance or whatever. Yeah.
It'll come back later. So we go back to Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch doing the debrief. She left the party early, and the henchmen are all pissed because they're getting slaughtered out there.
Yeah.
Hatred does not share Brock's aversion to firearms.
Yep. Like, we're not used to this. They're firing weapons at us. And, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch is like, well, you're wearing body armor. Well, I had to buy it myself. He had to pull American troops in Iraq 2003. Have to send it over, I guess. Yeah. So he sold he sold some of his Star Wars memorabilia, but not everybody is able to do that. Like you need to protect your men, right? And the wings are impractical. Every doorway in the cocoon tapers at the arch.
Very annoying. She says like, listen, we're not going to do anything about the doors, but we can look into the body armor. And 21 says, no, I have something even better, and does a little PowerPoint for the Mark V hench suit, which is like a kind of power armor with like, increases your strength and agility tenfold and stuff. You get to see this little sizzle reel for it.
Yeah.
The different kinds of ammo,
including the pain onion.
I like the pain onion quite a bit. And Dr. and Mrs. Monarch is like, that reminds me, you guys are using too much bandwidth. It's like horrible. 21 is like, what the heck? And she's like, listen, we all know this is too expensive. Like, we can't do this. And then the Monarch flies in with his butter glider, which he's like, look at this incredible, the best money I ever spent. It cost a fortune, but look at it.
He flies in, he's doing little tricks. Like he's showing it off like it's a new dirt bike or whatever.
It does look fun.
Yeah, it does.
Like I would instantly break both my ankles.
Oh God, yeah.
On it. What would happen is I would fall backwards, but my feet would be locked in place.
No, I would just it would flip upside down. I would break both my legs, and then it would just drag me against the street until it just wore away my head, then my torso, and then down to my bloody nub shoes.
I would look like a Titanite demon. Like it would just shear my face smooth. Like
just a big red crayon right down I-71.
Yeah,
Yep.
never give me a butter glider. The henchmen are very pissed off at this. Obviously, they all mutter and leave. Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is like, "What the heck is this? Why does it smell like French fries?" And it's because it's a lean green, killing machine. It runs on biodiesel. She says like, "It is bad timing. This is bad morale for the henchmen." And he's like, "You don't worry about the henchmen morale. You just command them."
Yeah.
When you say jump, they got to say what shark, which is cute.
Yeah.
You have to be more ruthless. This turns out to actually be very bad advice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Monarch is not very good at not very good at taking care of his men.
HR.
Just ask Speedy. Yeah. So cut over. Pete and Billy, they've been called in because whenever they need rogue medicine, they get them here. I don't know what Pete's doing here, but I know what Pete's doing here.
He's a computer technician.
He's a computer technician, yeah. So they're trying to look at him. He's also here to play Dr. House because he's been watching a lot of Dr. House reruns.
It's very cute. Yeah.
But they're examining Rusty's body, and Hatred explains, a lot of the wounds there, like he didn't like get directly hit, but after he fell unconscious, we took him to the hospital, and I signed the consent form for the MRI without realizing how much shrapnel he had in his body.
It's not shrapnel. It's when Billy reattached his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the wrong shoulder for it, but he's I love that he's like he went Jiffy Pop in the MRI.
Yep.
It's like that's an image. But yeah, this episode's full of callbacks.
Yeah. So
Billy kind of plays coy about this, like, "Oh, that's not my fault," like just like in either case.
Well, yeah.
They start going through different diagnoses.
Yes.
Here.
They say, "Hey, it's okay. So a stroke is obvious given his health, but what else do we have?" Dean suggests lazy face.
Yeah, he's like, "Dean, I'm sorry, I have to knock this out." And Dean's like, "It's only a hypothesis."
It's just a hypothesis. Just just so sheepish. Poor Dean. Hank is a little bit more confident in himself because he says, every schoolboy knows you swallow gum, it takes 30 years to digest. I always heard 7 years, but we're going to play along. What I do love is that he says, "Yep, it's definitely the gum. Those chiclets are coming home to roost."
That's very funny. It's a great line. What a horrible gum chiclets are.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, do you want gum that will instantly fall apart the moment you try and chew it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just small gum, lots of surface area. It's like if you want the candy coating more than anything else.
Yeah.
Billy says the only thing that they can do here is shrink down a submarine and go into Rusty's body. Pete's like, "Oh, that old cliche," and he's like, "It's not a cliche, it's a classic." So Inner Space is not a classic. Then why don't they have it on DVD? They do have it on DVD.
Well, I was talking about the Fantastic Voyage anyway.
Very cute.
That is so funny because like the Fantastic Voyage in Inner Space was like the original Deep Impact versus Armageddon.
Well, Fantastic Voyage came out is an old movie, and Inner Space is from the 90s.
Is Inner Space from the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Inner Space is what's his head? The Honey I Shrunk the Kids guy, and then one of the Quaids.
Yeah, it's Dennis Quaid. Oh yeah, Fantastic Voyage is like 1966. I thought those were closer.
Oh, no. Fantastic Voyage is an old-timey sci-fi movie, with the film adaptation of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Inner Space is in the Batteries Not Included club.
Yeah. Inner Space, Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan. Huh. That's
Martin Short, not the other guy.
Not Zelensky. Yeah.
Rick the way I remember it is that Dennis Quaid, driving around inside Martin Short's body makes him do a bunch of silly shit. Makes him raise his hand and punch people and stuff.
Yeah. I know that I've seen Inner Space, but in my head, all I can think of, I believe there was an Inner Space attraction at like MGM Studios in Florida or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was either MGM or Universal. It was just like one of those immersive. MGM. Okay. Yeah. But we went there and I thought it was interesting. It's, just real cool. Like, aha. But, my brother, Chris, it was like just a combination motion sick and then also just really squicked out by the blood. He fainted He had to be taken out of there, and like they had to give him orange slices and bottled water to get him back together. So I was like 6 or 7, so that would have made him 11 or 12.
Yeah. Chris got interspaced.
Yeah. It made him a little. He was sensitive to it, so I always associate inner space with that.
I would be, if I were inside a body, I'd be interested, but I would also be grossed out by a lot of what's going on there.
I mean, eldritch monstrosity. It's a Contra level, dude.
Yeah, it's very life force. It's a little too life force for me. Penetrator. What is the PAL name for Contra?
Perturbator.
Perturbator. Yeah, it's something like that. It's Perturbator is a band.
Oh,
it's Probotector.
Oh, Probotector. There we go. Yeah. Perturbator. They were on Hotline Miami, right? That's what I'm thinking about. Okay. Probotector. Yeah, that's dumb.
We cut over to our Butter Glider song. This Disney song about how much he loves it. The fun part of this is the abstract lyrics and forced rhymes.
Yes.
He's way into this Butter Glider.
Yeah. Also, they're doing it kind of intentionally off key. The off meter part was just because of the direction stuff, but it does end up feeling very Monarch. Kind of how slipshod it is. So the remaining protagonists, they go with Pete and White down to the submarine bay, saying like, "Oh, we have a submarine," and they raise a question: "What do you need a submarine in the mountains for?" But that's why Rusty sold it. Yeah,
so they think.
Yeah, there is a sub bay, but it's empty. But as they're about to go find something else, a Sphinx sub surfaces.
Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, we need to use this. They come over and check with Hunter, and Brock is saying we should do this, and Hunter's refusing him.
Yeah.
We're not here to fight the fucking cavity creeps and have you shrink down. You should just wipe their memories, like you do every time. And he's like, we can't keep doing that. Mm-hmm. Like they're getting buggy, and to prove it, he's like, Dean, what day is it? Sagittarius. It's like, good.
Now, Hank, funny. What color is my tongue? It's kind of Wednesday, like a light Wednesday.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hunter relents, but makes him do it. He's like, okay, you have to lead the mission. Mm-hmm. And Hatred's like, just a second here, quit Brock blocking me. I'm the bodyguard. Yes. And you're constantly doing this.
Yeah. And Brock very candidly says, well, you're a bodyguard, right? Well, you got to stay out here and guard his body.
Yeah. You're doing the most important job, Bubba.
If nobody works the door at the for the play, nobody's going to get in to see it. So in a way,
so it's like, hey, travel size them. So they shrink them down with the shrink ray. Mm-hmm. Here, there's a great little bit in the commentary where they're like, they got a lot of shit about the shrink ray, but now that they have a mind eraser, all things are good. Everything goes.
Yeah, if you want to make a shrink ray, okay, just put in a mind cleaner.
Yep.
So the boys are in the sub with Brock and Shore Leave, and they're just reciting lines from the Operation commercial. Brock says, boys, that stopped being funny 20 minutes ago. And Hank, again, very confidently, confidence-assy Hank is great. He says, it'll come around if we keep doing it.
And it kind of does, because Shore Leave joins in.
Yep.
It's very cute. Out in the lab, Billy and Pete are making bets on what the cause is, tumor versus blood clot. Mm-hmm. And Dean thinks that when they're down there, they're going to find a new uncle again. Again, callback stuff. Yeah. They roll up on their obstruction, and they're radio in. Hank's like, I was right. It was gum.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Big gloopy thing in the in a blood vessel. It's a blood clot. It's an embolism, just got obstructed, shut off part of his brain. So they're going to have to go out and use ray guns to dissolve it. But as they do, they get rid of the first layer of grime, and they realize that it's something metal, something big and metal. Dean points out that it's the X3. Rusty didn't sell it. It's in his body, and there are two skeletons and Hank and Dean clothes in the pilot seats. And Brock says, "Oh, so that's what happened to the Sevens."
I love Dean being like, "Brock, what's that?" Because it's such a scary thing to see a skeleton dressed just like you.
Yeah,
that is so good and terrifying. Yeah, I love the idea of them like we'll shrink down and get inside Pop, you know, and just like going about and doing this thing. I would like to have seen that episode, but they starved to death.
Yeah,
because they left the parking brake on, as we'll discover. So,
I love
very
when Hank says, "Can I drive?" That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Very good. Dr. Mrs. the Monarch goes to get into bed with the regular Mr. the Monarch, but he's spooning the butter glider. And
she just tries to climb in and she like stubs her toe on it and she it's hardened metal. Like, what the hell is this? And he immediately turns into like a jealous Lifetime movie husband. Like, you never understood us.
Yeah. He's really obsessed with this. And again, it makes a little bit more sense when you think of this as like kind of a symbol of, you know, a coping mechanism. She's like, fine, you can keep it. You can keep your stupid glider. He tells the glider she didn't mean that. And she goes down to the cantina in a femme fatale kind of disguise.
Yeah.
The bartender hands her a drink, which she didn't order. And it's like, he ordered it for you. And it's 21.
Yeah.
Over there.
21's like, wait, I didn't order that. 24 did.
Yeah. He's still doing the thing where he can't not respond to 24.
Right.
Which I'm glad they stopped doing that eventually. Because it's the same joke every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She comes over. She doesn't want to, you know, she's 24 thinks that she's hitting on him. She's basically just kind of, you know, comrade. You know, this is a little bit like that conversation I felt with Dr. Venture.
Yeah.
Outside of the, you know, she's like, I got to get away from the Monarch for a little bit.
You know how he gets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, like 21 is reluctant about all this. He thinks like, oh gosh, I can't face her down because of how she shot down the armor proposal. Right. But that opens up again. You know, as 24 is interrupting him, talking about how much he's into it. It says, okay, you know, the only thing that the Monarch, you know, is more obsessed with than the butter glider is Dr. Venture. So we need you to go get Dr. Venture. Do you think that's something you can do for me? Which is really fun because 24 is saying, oh, she wants you to sleep with her so the Monarch will be jealous. And that's kind of what she wants him to do.
She is invoking his jealousy.
Yeah.
You know, 2021 says, I don't know. Some of the guys are talking about going on strike. I don't think they're going to be down for that. And she's like, well, maybe they should. She gets an idea.
Yeah.
We cut over. They remove the X3. So Rusty's face undroops and he kind of starts moving a little bit. At the same time this happens, the motion detector shows up. He thinks it's somebody from Sphinx who locked themselves out. So he goes out like it's nothing.
Yeah. Dean says that the story doesn't add up. Why would someone steal our clothes and then steal the submarine and then shrink themselves down and go inside Pop?
Yeah. Brock's just like, enough with the questions. It's what happened, okay?
Yeah.
Where they reveal that they died because they left the parking brake on. Hydra goes out to investigate the signal, and it's an army of the Monarch's henchmen. He tries to kind of big dog him with guild rules. He's like, well, you know, you're going to have to try another time.
Yeah.
We have a medical emergency, and according to guild rules, you can't attack during this. 21 says, you know, that's going to be a problem because we're actually not with the Monarch. We're on strike.
Yeah.
And they all take off their masks. One thing I thought about with this, and this is me I'm not trying to CinemaSins this. Doesn't it seem like them all taking off their mask and being unaffiliated Sphinx would come out and kill them?
Yeah, it does seem like that would be the exact way because that's precisely what Sphinx operates to stop.
And I could see like if Sphinx wasn't on the compound, it being like, well, you know, they have to inform Sphinx and stuff. But Sphinx is literally right there.
It's right there. And really only Brock and Shore Leave are occupied or Broccupied. Yeah.
Broccupy Wall Street.
Broccupy Waldine. Yeah. So that seems to be the case. I guess it just happens so quick, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Hatred should have called them, and maybe he didn't want to because of resentment.
Yeah.
You know, he runs away as he's getting fired with darts, puts the compound on lockdown, you know, manages to bring down the shutters, and Helper pops up from behind in his walking eye form.
Yeah. We think that he's going to be attacking them, but they immediately intimidate him into hacking the shutters open.
Yeah, they rip off his gun and put it to his own head.
Yep. I love Hatred's speedball.
This is really good.
He rushes into the lab where you just do completely pincushioned by these darts, and he Pulp Fictions himself. So he gives himself an injection of epinephrine right in the heart. And he says, "I might be having a heart attack. I'm overweight, over 50, and I'm speedballing tranq darts and pure adrenaline." And he's shaking and just waving his pistol around.
I don't like being around guns.
Yeah.
The joke of somebody just wildly waving a pistol around always gets me.
Oh yeah. I mean, see Frank from It's Always Sunny. Yeah.
Yeah. Frank, Hatred here. The Birthday Boys Star Wars sketch. We're just like, you bastards, just waving guns around, firing them wildly. It's very funny to me.
Yeah.
Dr. Mrs. the Monarch does her plan. She radios the Monarch saying 21 went rogue. He said something about how the Monarch isn't man enough to do it himself to attack Venture.
So transparent.
He's having a picnic with his butter glider on top of the observatory, but this pulls him out.
I just love he has the plaid blanket and the basket and everything.
He's feeding it snacks.
Oh, incredibly good. But he hops on and rides out. They get the shutters open, and Hatred frantically orders everybody into the panic room. Monarch swoops down and gives 21 his mask back. Like, okay, game's over. Let's finish this. Yeah.
You're a henchman. Don't forget it.
Hench for life, right?
Yeah. Hatred is not trying to wheel the chair, and he's trying to pull Rusty, just bodily through this, which is causing his bloodstream to go all crazy, endangering the people who are inside, the boys, the different subs. Mm-hmm. Rusty ends up tranking, Hatred again.
No, it's the Monarch.
The Monarch.
Yeah, sorry,
he comes. I was trying to remember it, because at some point soon Rusty's going to start doing the inner space thing and moving around because of things that's happening in his brain. It's confused me. Yeah. The Monarch comes in, tranks Hatred, knocks him out. I love this. The Monarch being like, "You're not Hank and Dean," to Billy and Pete, which of course they are.
Right? Yeah, I love Pete's line. Due to a medical emergency, the parts of Hank and Dean will be played by Pete White and Billy Quizboy, like it's a Broadway play or something like that. I love this. I love this character beat before the Monarch tranks them. He was like, "Wait a minute, didn't you go to state?" I recognize you. Like, oh, you had that radio show, the White Chamber, the White Noise, so the White Room. Oh, it's a small funny word.
I used to listen to you. I love the Monarch. Used to be kind of a fan. And I would have listened to the White Room. It would have been full of Depeche Mode and Susie and the Banshees and shit.
Oh God, yeah.
He's like, small money, small funny world, but he tranks him anyway.
Yeah, of course.
He tries to wake up Rusty, and this is where the X-23 crashes, or the X3 crashes into his brain, and he sits up and punches him.
You just proposed a weird crossover.
If the X-23 crashed into his brain, oh boy. If the Venture Brothers ran for 100 seasons, eventually they do an X-23,
maybe,
knockoff character.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty deep bench.
Yeah, just a little clone of Brock. Yeah. Oh man,
with knives in her feet. The clone of Brock would look like the bully daughter from The Simpsons with the Poindexterin. Yeah, with that hair.
God, that just literally. Why is that always coming up?
It's not a great episode.
It's not. Second time this week. I know we've recorded a lot this week, but we have not wrapped around on our Simpsons reference wheel back to Poindexteros again.
Yeah, it just keeps coming up. It's relevant in a surprising number of situations.
Gosh. But the X-ray crashes, causes a synapse, and then he sits up and punches him, and you're gonna fight, huh? And so Monarch ropes Rusty up and flies away with his limp, inert body tracking behind the butter glider.
I love the ending of this so much. Mm-hmm. This is so again, as I watch more of these episodes, I'm paying more attention. I'm slowly transitioning to a Jackson guy in terms of episodes, and this is the kind of reason why. This episode doesn't just end; it ends with a really cool visual, surreal visual and action climax. Yeah. It doesn't feel time episode end now. Mm-hmm. Because Hatred wakes up as they're flying out, and he gets the idea to shoot Rusty with the grow function, growing everybody. So the tank back to normal size. But we get this image of gigantic Rusty in his underwear, like Giant Man.
Yep.
Crashing Monarch to the ground. It just looks incredible.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He's colossal. He is as big as the compound.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. The Sphinx sub, falls from the tear duct, right? And as it's about to land on the Monarch, we cut to credits. I love the Rusty shaped imprint on the ground.
Yeah, very good. The post-credit scene, because there's still Brock is still in there. He didn't make it up to the tear duct for extraction. So they're trying to find him. Dean is describing, and Pete White is using a little scanner here. He's describing a kind of Wednesday meat lily. He means pink. Yeah. It turns out they're in the prostate. So Billy gives Pete some lube and a rubber glove to jerk Rusty off to make them come out his sons.
Yep.
For the second time.
Once more.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty foul.
Yeah.
Like I would prefer not to come out of anybody's dick.
I mean, if I can help it, I'm not naive enough to say it'll never happen, but.
No. I mean, this is a wild fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Like, you never know if you're going to get shrunk down and put into cum. Could happen to the best of us.
Boom, you wake up one day.
Yeah. You wake up tomorrow shrunk down in somebody's cum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, this is a good, fun episode. It's tight. I like competent hatred. He does a good job in this. We get Brock back. Some very good Brock lines. This is good Monarch content as well. Like his you unlocked that for me. I literally thought that was just him being, a little bit wacky,
Yeah, a little random.
Yeah, but no, that motivation makes this just much better. I dig this. It's a really good kind of half premiere, right? Let's say. Yeah.
It's I think that they are doing the Monarch gets disillusioned with various parts of his life plot too many times. Now that I'm watching them in short succession, right? Like, it feels like he's consistently like, this isn't what villainy is. There's too much bureaucracy. He's kind of like a whiny little baby.
Yeah.
He's like very sensitive to these winds of change here. And you can only do the crisis for the Monarch so many times. And apparently the original version of this would have introduced a lot of marital strife.
Yeah.
They ended up cutting out as a much longer argument they had. I'm glad that got cut out.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to feel like the Monarch's plots are a little bit running in place. Like what's there is really good.
Yeah.
But he needs to move, and he doesn't really get, that happens through all of season 5. It doesn't really, come out of that spiral until the Blue Morpho stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they cut that out because I like the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend's, fundamental relationship, like their marriage being good. Like the fact that they work together is I think is important to their character, It's the other stuff that gets in the way, it is this kind of like professional resentment and jealousy and kind of the mismatch in their management styles, which pops up here. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very good episode.
Yeah.
The next few ones are all good. Like this is a fun, good season. So excited. If you like this show, head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. We would appreciate it. You can also leave us a rating review on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict.
Yes, you can. If you have any friends who like the Venture Brothers, please go ahead and do that. Talk about us on social media. It's it feels forced asking that, but honestly, our word of mouth is the only way that we can grow. It helps. It really does. It does. So thank you to everybody who helped spread the word.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. And until next time,
go Team Venture.